This is your team news. That was an accident, and we had some gremlins in the house. Some real big gremlins in the house. And no idea what happened there. 1 minute we were there, and the next minute I'm talking to myself. Anyway, Scales and Yang starting, says Michelle. Just why? Why, oh, why, oh, why? Yeah, you might ask. Why are they starting? But you've got to say, it's the players. It is the majority of the players. When you look at it, Kasper Schmeichel. Questions over Kasper Schmeichel being the number one goalkeeper? Not really. He is the most experienced goalkeeper that we have. But I do think that we play better, personally, when young Sinisalo's on the field of play. Johnston, Carter, Vickers, Scales and Tierney playing for the first time together will be interesting. Got to remember, Kieran Tierney wasn't playing the last couple of games in pre-season. Was that just to keep him? Should Trusty be starting before I'm going to say it, should he be starting before Scales? And where is Dane Murray? And I did say this would happen. Dane Murray would find it hard to get onto the bench because Trusty's on the bench. Now, if we're about to bring in another defender, Brendan Rodgers tends not to have two defenders on the bench at one time. So, with that being said, is there players about to get moved out on loan? Because you can't have too many of these players. I know that we like squad rotation, but there's going to be a lot of games where either Dane Murray or this new defender that's coming in from Man City, they'll not get on the bench. Do you know, are they going to be happy with that? And then you've got to look at the midfield, and you've got to look at some of the players that are missing from the bench there. So, McCowan will get a game. Arne Engels will get a game. Bernardo may come on. I think Callum will see the game out. It's going to be an interesting one. And James Forrest will definitely come on for Yang. And I just hope that Yang picks up his game, because if Yang plays the game the way that he played quite a lot of last season, it's going to be fun in games. Just checking out the Dundee United game there. It got a bit tasty. Dundee United player just barged into fuck the Huns. We'll win 4-0. Benji and Adamida will score. Scales before Trusty all day long. Yeah, but the thing is Scales has got the pace when it comes to the Champions League. Scales does have the pace when it comes to the Champions League. So Yang's terrible. Well, let's hope that he's not terrible today. Let's hope that he's having a good game, because he's all that we've got on the wing. Unfortunately, he is all that we've got on the wing, whether you like that or not. But it is what it is, isn't it? Let me just double check something, because that issue with the thingy cost us dearly. Yep. This is not managing Tierney's minutes. Well, you're wanting Tierney to start the game. You're wanting Tierney. He's not been playing. Tierney never played a lot of minutes towards the end of the pre-season, so I think Tierney won't play in the cup game when that comes up in just a few weeks. When you look at the games that we do have coming up, it is going to be a busy time for Celtic, and I think that Kieran Tierney will not start the League Cup game. When you look at the fixtures, obviously we've got St Mirren today, and next week we've got Aberdeen away, then we have Falkirk on the Friday night. Did we speak about that? The carnage of a Friday night kickoff, 7:45 kickoff on a Friday night. That's going to be joyous. Absolutely joyous. Get Celtic out of the way and then just get on with the weekend. That's going to be mayhem at Celtic Park. I mean, folk are just going to be like, fuck, sacking it half day. And the traffic will be terrible. Imagine trying to get to Celtic Park for the back of 5 on a Friday night. Who thinks these things through? You've got to really ask who thinks these things through. I mean, traffic's bad enough on a week any day at 5 o'clock, but never mind trying to get to Celtic Park for after the back of 5. And then we'd entertain Livingston at Celtic Park, as well as before that we have a little Champions League qualifier game, and then after the Livingston game we have a Champions League qualifier game also. Then that takes us on to the end of the season, where we take on the Sevconians. Unless Tierney goes off, Trusty comes on and Scales moves out to left back. Michelle, do you think that that's what he's going to do? Because he doesn't have a left back on... All he's got is Ralston. So, Michelle, you're actually right on that one. Because there's nobody else that can play left back. But is this, let's just face it, is what Brendan Rodgers is doing today, and every manager does it. When you win the league, the first game of the season is all about giving a nod to the players that did it last year for you. This is their day. Do you know, there's no use bringing in too many players that weren't here last season to play from the start, because this is their moment. Do you know, they achieved it last season, and it's an old-fashioned thing, isn't it? It's an old-fashioned concept that, I mean, Brendan Rodgers, when he is old-fashioned in his managerial sense that way. Dundee United just scored an absolute cracker of a goal. What a goal! I'm sure that lad ran all the way for the halfway line himself and just went right through everybody, right through the whole Falkirk, and just slammed it past the keeper. Scales, yeah, people are getting a bit up. So it's Scales. Getting back to Scales. Also, Yamada and Kenny on the bench. Might not even see Yamada play unless he plays 2 in the middle. I think that you will see Yamada play, because you'll see Adam Ida come off. You'll see Adam Ida come off and Shin Yamada come on in his place. If Adam Ida's not scored by the 60th minute, he will be off. Scott Bain is pish. Scott Bain is wash. I mean, did Scott Bain learn nothing off of some of the top goalkeepers we had? Talk about trying to make yourself big. All that experience at Celtic, and he's playing in a nice pink top and shorts. Anyway, let's jump into the comment section and see what people are saying with this. Bain near post, yeah, exactly. Why would anyone go for Bain? Yep. Where's Inamura? He's not in the team, Liam. He's not in the team at all. And I did say that this would happen with some of the players that came in, because when you look at the bench, Brendan Rodgers never plays. He'll bring in one person for each side of the defence. He brings in, God fucking hell, Falkirk have just scored. What a game this is turning into be. Jesus, it's 2-2. What a warm-up to the Celtic game, I tell you. It's out wide. Back in. Oh, look at... Oh, Bain again! What was Bain thinking? Bain is shite. Is that a better angle? Bain kicks it out to... It ricochets off Bain out to a defender and back in past Bain. Oh, Bain. Jesus. Scott Bain's me the feel the pain. Thank goodness we got rid of Bain. It just means that we've got a really strong bench. Yeah. When you look at the bench, Sinisalo, Trusty, McCowan, Shin Yamada, Johnny Kenny, Arnie Engels, Paulo Bernardo, James Forrest and Tony Ralston. Who do you leave off the bench to bring Inamura in? That's my point. Is nobody. You're not dropping Ralston because He's way better than Inamura. Plus, Ralston was here last season, and it's the wee nod to what he did for Celtic last season. Jamesy Forrest, when you look at the winger situation on the bench, that's where it's more worrying. Last season, we always had 2 wingers on the bench. This season, we've got James Forrest. When you look at it, we've got McCowan in midfield. We've got Bernardo and Engels. You've got 3 midfield players that can come on. You've got Shin Yamada, Johnny Kenny and Tony Ralston, which makes me think that during the game we're going to start off a 4-3-3, but during the game we're going to go to a 4-2-3-1 situation. Well, no, it might be a 2 actually. 2 up front. He's definitely going to bring another striker on and have 2 strikers on at one go, whether it be Adam Ida and then Johnny Kenny just behind him, or brings on Shin Yamada and Johnny Kenny. Now that'd be a turn up for the books. That'd be a massive turn up for the books if he brings on Johnny Kenny and Shin Yamada at the same time. Brian Harkin's babysitting now, probably won't get to watch the game. We're doing a watch along, Brian, so just switch YouTube on and listen to us. Bain must have forgotten that he's playing and not sitting on the bench at Celtic anymore. Yeah, because the 2 goals were terrible that Falkirk conceded. But anyway. But fair play to Falkirk getting back into the game so quick. Anyway, imagine the scenes if Forrest scores today. I hope he does score today. I hope he scores nice and early, because you don't want him to get into the dark depths of the season and then hoping to try and score then. You want him to score when it's nice and sunny and the fans aren't sitting there freezing their jacks off. You want everyone sitting there with their t-shirts on getting it loudy, which they will be doing today because they've been in the pub for quite a while. Does Rodgers not fancy Osmond? Osmond was never going to fit into the team. He's not a first team player. This whole thing putting young Osmond in the who do you leave out? Do you know you're definitely not going to leave Johnny Kenny. Johnny Kenny's got way more experience, and Shin Yamada is coming to be your number 1 striker. Osmond's never going to get on the bench half the season. As long as we've got Johnny Kenny, Shin Yamada and Adam Ida at the club, Osmond will not get on the bench this season unless it's a cup game. He will get on during the cup games, and the cup games only. I tell you one thing, both these teams they're good in their own standards, but the football's woeful. It is woeful. When you look at the standard of some of these, I mean, it looks like Falkirk have just went out and just like, let's get in as many 6-foot players as possible. Or Dundee United, should I say. But then that's Dundee United's managers like that all the time, isn't he? I'm now reading some of the comments on Celtic. Well, that's us winning 56 this year with that shite lineup. Let me just see. How's that come through? James Beattie sent us a photo. James Beattie's just sent me a thing saying that he subscribed to Celtic TV and couldn't watch the festivities if he wanted to. Celtic TV's great, and it's just like you pay for the privilege to watch it, and they show you nothing. They'll show you it tomorrow, mate. No fear, we've got the Irish Maldini. The Irish Maldini and Adam Ida? Seriously? This is quality is poor. Yeah, I'm watching the game. However, I live in Switzerland, and whilst the technical ability of some of the players is not superior, the physical is a Scottish game. Well, James Beattie, just stay watching this channel. It's way more exciting. That lineup suggests Rodgers has already decided he'll be elsewhere next season. No, it doesn't, Paul. Stop looking at the lineup of the first game of the season and having negative connotations towards it, because all that lineup says to me is the manager has given a nod to the players that won the league for us last season. Think back to a couple of seasons ago when David Turnbull starting before Rio Hatate. And David Turnbull started before Rio Hatate because Rio Hatate was in better form. David Turnbull was in better form than Rio Hatate. It doesn't mean to say he was going to see out the season. You know, all today it's a little nod to the players that kept us going and got us over the line last season. That's all the lineup on the first game of the season ever is. Jokers, some Celtic fans, yeah. Did we sign Poussey? Not yet. It's 2-2 in the Falkirk game with 80 minutes on the clock, 80 minutes 20. And YouTube's delayed, so the time that you hear this, it will probably be 80-40. Something. Anyway. I'm feeling good about this season considering how bad the Huns are. They are honking, says Easy Neville. I'm not even going to worry about them, because when you look at it, you know, we've got a lot to focus on this season, and getting straight into the cup games, getting straight into a Champions League qualifier. We've not had a Champions League qualifier for a couple of seasons, and it will give the fans a little bit of shit. We've got a Champions League qualifier. Fantastic game, but we need to win it. We need to get into the Champions League. And it coming out today that Celtic, I read, that are still in for Mikelan Belwisha, but they're waiting until, allegedly, I don't believe it, it said that Celtic are waiting until they qualify for the Champions League before spending massive sums of money. So if they don't get into the Champions League, whose fault is it? Is it the manager's fault, or is it the board's? There is definitely a power struggle going on, but I don't care. It's Sunday. Scales must be fitter than Trusty, although Trusty looked better than pre-season. I think there will be. I don't know. Trusty will come on. They got Ant-Man. Who? I don't even know any of the players at the bottom. I've never looked at one bit of, until last night, until I got sent those videos, and I went on to have a sneak preview of if they're having a meltdown or not. I've never looked at any of their stuff all summer, and I won't look at anything in theirs until we're 5 points ahead. 5 points ahead come the end of the month. That would be brilliant. Dundee United making some changes. Still 50 minutes to go till Celtic kick off. Maida should play centre forward, but we can't because we have no wingers. Terrible state of play. Yeah, I mean, you could. We really should talk about the completely bizarre situation. What? Oh dear. So the notifications that you get sometimes, and some of the chat that comes for folks that are at the game. Anyway, when you look at the team, we'll look at the bench, and then we'll look at the squad. There's a good few players that are missing from the bench today. Inamura, for one, missing from the bench. Osmond, missing from the bench. Marco Tilio, missing from the bench. Jota missing from the bench. He's out injured. So, I mean, and then Stephen Welsh, also defender. Stephen Welsh missing from the bench. So, talking about one player, Inamura, and him not getting his chance. I think that Stephen Welsh thought he would have left Celtic by this stage. Unfortunately, he got injured, remember. But Marco Tilio not getting... he's hopefully on his way to Austria now for that deal to get done, which means that Celtic are about to sign a player imminently. And for Celtic to turn around, and hold back Marco Tilio not being put out on loan, where the only winger that we have on the bench is James Forrest. He is the only winger we have on the bench, which means that we must be going to, I would say it's a 4-4-2. I would say there's more chance of Celtic changing formation in this game to a 4-2-2 for a 4-4-2 formation. And Brendan Rodgers going, fuck it, back to the old school. Jesus. You sit and you watch Scottish football year after year after year, and you think you hope that the standard gets a little bit better in little increments, and then you watch this game and you're like, Jesus God. Fair play to the Dundee United fans for going down and the numbers that they did. And when you look at the Dundee, by the way, when you're looking at this game, this will be the same amount of fans that Celtic will get away at Falkirk, which is some difference, because I can remember there was a time that Celtic would get 2 stands at Falkirk. So fair play to Falkirk and their fans for backing their local team in numbers. Forrest can start half games. You could start half. Apart from Koeman, I'd say that's the strongest team. Benji. They're upgrades. Yeah, they're upgrades, but the bench... Brendan Rodgers on about bringing players in. No, we never replaced Kyogo. But in saying that, Shin Yamada's the man that's been brought in to replace Kyogo Furuhashi. I think any notions that Celtic are going to go out and spend 4, 5, 6, 7 million on a striker, you can forget it. Shin Yamada is your man. Shin Yamada is the where the money's went. Don't ask where the rest of it is. I'm starting to get worried that the Kellys and Whites have sneaked into Celtic Park, and have stole the password for the bank, and they've put a biscuit tin on top of it. Bernardo should never be on the bench. It's an interesting one. Nope, Celtic mad. I think that it's a very fluid situation, where if Celtic were to get a big offer of 25 million, 28 to 25 million for Daizen Maeda, I think they would sell him. That deal should have been done and dusted in the summer. Do you know, that deal should have been done and dusted well before the end of last season. Going into a situation where you've got a player that's only got 2 years to go. Paul never rated Bernardo, even though that it was Paulo Bernardo 2 seasons ago that changed the game in the Scottish Cup final and made sure we won the Scottish Cup final. Paulo Bernardo's a lot better than Arnie Engels as far as I'm concerned, and he just doesn't get a game because we've got Callum McGregor. You know, we've not been allowed to see how good Paulo Bernardo is. I mean, you don't get to captain. I've said this before. You don't become captain of your. of your national side, your B team national side, if you're a rubbish player. You know, they obviously see him as a player that's going to be influential going into the main team at some point if he can break into it. But then again, you never know. Maybe Paulo Bernardo will be one of these players. Absolute. Scott Bain's a Celtic legend with an angry face. I've just noted on the chat. No, not on the live chat. A special guest? Ah, that one. Engels is dug meat. We've got Ant-Man. They've got Ant-Man. If Maeda doesn't sign a new contract, we need to cash in on him now. Yeah, I know. I've said that since last year. I've said that since last season. That he needed sold this window if he's not going to sign a new contract. But Bernardo's had limited game time. Yep, he's always had limited game time, and I don't think that he's had a chance. It's Mo Johnston. Fuck off, James Beattie. It's the incredible Ant-Man. Love it says he prefers Engels. He prefers Bernardo to Engels too. Yep, me too. I mean, Engels has his place in the team. Engels will prove a lot of people wrong. But I think that whatever made us go and spend the money on Paulo Bernardo, is why not utilise him as a player? I think it was a fantastic piece of business getting Paulo Bernardo. I think he's a fantastic talent. And I think that he's one player as one player everyone's forgetting about Luke McCowan. Yeah, I mean, Luke McCowan, where does he fit into the team? Rafael Shadit was better than Engels. Nah, I mean, the team is set up, when you look at it, to start the game a 4-3-3. And then I think the substitutes that will come on will allow Benji to come and sit in beside Callum McGregor. And I think the player to go off will be Yang. Yang will go off, and I think Arne Engels will come on, and Shin Yamada up front with Adam Ida going off also. You never know. That Kelly pitch yesterday gives me nightmares for KT and CCV. McCowan is a Dundee level player. McCowan's good for Scottish football. I wouldn't say he's a Dundee. He's way outgrown Dundee now. I mean, McCowan was fantastic during pre-season, I thought. Luke was brilliant during pre-season. Do you know, he's got to feel unlucky that he's got so many good players round about him. If you're playing 4 in midfield, Luke McCowan gets a game every couple of weeks. Luke McCowan gets a game. If not, Luke McCowan comes on as a sub. If you're playing 4 in the middle, right? If you're playing Callum McGregor, Paulo Bernardo, Rio Hitati, Benji in the middle, or say Callum McGregor, Arne Engels, Paulo Bernardo, Rio Hitati, for instance, right? Or say you drop out Paulo Bernardo, you bring in Benji, you have got Benji and Luke McCowan as players to come in and play in the middle of the park. It's not a big squad, is it? It's not really a big squad, but it gives you a lot of room to manoeuvre. Oh, does it that? Anyway, what time is it? It's coming up for 8 minutes to. Looks good as well, says Danny. Yep. Luke had a great pre-season, and he's not O'Reilly, but he's good. Matt O'Reilly was a different level player. Matt O'Reilly, we were lucky. We were lucky to get Matt O'Reilly. Very lucky to get Matt O'Reilly. You know, I was lucky with it that you got to remember, he kind of passed his own way to Celtic. You know, making sure that he got that clause in his contract, and Celtic had been watching him since Fulham. Like the boy Donovan, back up Alistair Johnson, put Ralston in the crowd. With a few of his fellow fans, us. Start with Yang and Scales. We have 100 million in the bank. It's criminal. It's criminal. I don't think it's criminal. I think it's a situation that could have been averted. Allowing Nico Kuhn to be sold without having a replacement in is criminal. You know, allowing Kyogo Furuhashi to be sold, but then we'll wait and see what Shin Yamada does. For me, it's all about what Yamada can do, because I cannot see us spending. I think that we have spent what we're going to do in the transfer market when it comes to strikers. I still think that we will bring in 2 wingers. Yeah, Donovan went out on loan to... Did he not go to Ayr United? He went to Scott Brown. We won't score with Adamida on the pitch. Good chance Maeda will be away soon. Don't say things like that. It's only the beginning of the season. Oh, God. Oh, well. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, you're right. That's giving you something to think about, actually. It is a tester. It is a tester. Confident. Rogers' tactics truly baffling at times. Crazy, he says. Love it. Japan 3, St Mirren 0. See if Ida slaps hat-trick today, Baz. It's only St Mirren. Yeah, there would be. We need Dyson to stay. It's a bad loss if he goes. I think that we need him to stay because he's our best winger until Jota comes back. I think that we're in a situation where if we can't allow Yang to leave because we don't have a replacement, there's no way we shouldn't be in this position. We've went from a position of being really, really strong in the wing areas, really strong in the wing areas, to being really, really weak in those areas. And I think it's disappointing that we have done that. Oh shit, I just pressed the wrong button. Quit. Hope Big Vickers found the couple of yards he lost from last season. Well, hopefully the operation on his knee, because it's obvious now that the reason that he was so slow last season is that he was needing that operation on the knee, and Celtic didn't want to come out and state it in public. Kyogo, Kuhn, Jota, and now Yang is alone. Maeda is money. Yeah. It's going to be a tough season. Every team in the league have upped their game except the Buns. It's going to be a hard season, this Paul McStay. Fuck off. Sky just giving us a little fleeting glimpse. Where's Inamura? Sherkiatili? What? Lead. Selling players and not bringing someone in to cover their spot. Celtic murder for that. But we never used to be. We used to bring players in and allow them to be brought into the team gently. You know, the last season, I want to Yamada more than Kenny. Says Square Sausage Mac. Can CCV play more in the Champions League? Well, there's the big question. Can he play more in the Champions League? Can he see a full Champions League campaign? That's my question. And if he doesn't see a Champions League campaign, Celtic are banking the money so that they could spend big next summer. And the thing is we know that if we don't spend big this summer, do you know, the probability of us winning the league is probably around about the 80% mark. As it stands, it's about 80% that Celtic will win the league. There's a slim possibility that they may not. And if there's a slim possibility that it may not happen, come the Christmas transfer window, the January transfer window, Celtic will go into that heavy on loans and good quality loan players to see Brendan Rodgers throughout the end of his tenure. Paul the Maestro would walk into today's... Yeah, Paul McStay was way better than any of these players. Way better. Think of the bank balance. Yeah, the bank balance doesn't mean overly much to me. I think it's... centre forward for Napoli. I think that none of the big signings that we thought that we were going to go for they're not going to happen in this window. I can't see it. I just can't see Celtic now forking out. I mean, we're left at this time last season. We still hadn't spent the 20 million that we spent on Adam Ida and Arne Engels. Think about that. At this point of the season last year, we still had 20 million to spend in the transfer market. So just wait and see. Wait and see. We should look at the youth players at PSG. The fans deserve Champions League. The board don't. Oof. Put McStay on at half time. He could probably still do a game. Right, I'm having a bit technical difficulty. Your dad liked me, love Paul McStay, one of my best heroes. Yeah, he was a fantastic player, big hero. There's the pictures of Celtic Park. It doesn't look that busy outside. That must have been filmed ages ago. Brendan. Oh, turn the volume up, Baz.
Yeah, it's a very small window of reflection in terms of last year. You know,
See, this is what I said.
in the past, and it's very much history now. So today at Flag Day is always a special day. One, you've shown that you're there.
Brendan Rodgers says Flag Days is always a special day. It's a nod to last season.
In the final game of the league season last season, how tough will that be? Yeah, it's always tough.
Says today's going to be a tough game.
Always could be a really, really difficult game. Very well
difficult game. They're well organised. I need a Red Bull.
For us, we have to play really well to get the result. Midfield starts today. How excited should the Celtic fans be about him? Yeah, very gifted.
It'll be interesting to see what position Benji plays.
Gets turned in midfield really well, and yeah.
Baz, I'm Scotland. Just
He starts. Arne Engels is on the bench. What did you have to consider there, and how tough a decision is that?
no worries. Don't worry about it.
It's throughout the season.
Don't worry about it.
We get many games over the course of the season. This is the key player. St Mirren play low, and like I said, players that really could get turned in that sort of midfield section. Arne's been looking for us. He's really going to push on in this season. So a very young player who adapted really well last season. Champions League games was excellent.
He's expecting
When the space is there, and he can move, and he will get better and better.
Arne Engels to get better this season.
So, but all the players were really focused and all ready to perform when asked. And having Kieran Tierney back in that
I'm going to go and get my green Red Bull.
more leadership into
I do sleep at night.
yeah, he's very driven, he's very ambitious, and obviously, of course, he comes
I was just up early, taking the missus to the airport. Way early.
that's great to have him back. Still working his way up to fitness like most of the players, but now he's
It's a carb come down.
good luck today.
Good luck today.
Well, a couple of new faces in the Celtic lineup today, although one has certainly not an unfamiliar face in Kieran Tierney, but the one player that the Celtic fans might be looking forward to seeing today is Benjamin Regan, who's come in with
Benji. Bad Celtic fans are being every day. By the board, yeah, they are that. Brendan. I think it'll be a tight game, 4-1 or 3-1 formation. 4-1, 3-1. What? I'm going to have my second Morgan Spice. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go and get a drink, and I'll see you on the live for the watch along, which starts in around about 10 minutes. Anyway, we'll cut this video short, and I'll see you on the watch along video.